Hey everybody, Patty here with Haven Realty Group. I've got Kyle on our team in the car where he always is. And our
In the field.
special guest is Vanessa.
Hello.
And we are so glad she's here. You know, this is so funny because Vanessa, I didn't even ask you for a review because your transaction was so hard. I don't want. Okay, so let
That's
me just tell you guys in a nutshell. And by the way, they stopped all of these down payment assistance programs yesterday because
really
of
Yes, they
the
did.
like Doge investigations to make sure funds are being used appropriately. And the three of us know now that it is not run well,
no.
not at all. Okay,
Yeah.
so we listed Vanessa's home in Beaumont, beautiful home, four bedroom. Now, mind you, for all her showings, she had three dogs. This was not easy
Yep.
from the very beginning. So, and then we came on the market right after summer
Hmm.
when things kind of slowed down. So we didn't have a buyer. We didn't have a buyer. We weren't getting any offers, a handful of showings. So we get this offer, and it's from an agent I didn't know, and it's written weird because the buyer was getting a $200,000 down payment assistance from two different programs through the County of Riverside.
Yep.
I should have known more. So we took it
Hindsight.
because it's what we had in front of us, right? So then the drama kind of started. So they assured us it would be a 45-day escrow. I even asked, can it be faster? No, I don't think so. And I talked to the lender and the agent. Um, the other thing, and Vanessa, I don't even know if you know this, but normally, well, let me back up. So we get started, and the first thing every buyer does is their inspection.
Hmm.
And Vanessa's house, even with three dogs, you would never know there were dogs there. It was like impeccable. It was just one of the cleanest houses. It
Yes.
was so refreshing.
I remember when I went through there, it was immaculate. It was beautiful. It's a beautiful home. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful home. And yeah, you'd never know that there's dogs there.
Other houses, not so much. So they did their inspection. Now, when we get an inspection, a request for repairs back, I always counsel buyers and sellers, this is health and safety. This isn't change a light bulb, fix a screen. So the buyer's agent submitted their request. Kyle's laughing. They submitted a normal request for repairs. We did that. I don't remember what was on the main one, but there was a leak in the bathroom.
Yeah, the bathroom, there was the where the smoke detector was positioned in the downstairs bedroom.
Yep.
Oh,
And
that's right. It had to
the
go by
light,
the intake,
yeah, the
but it
light
wasn't
and
that big.
yeah.
So we get that all done and we're going, and now we know this has to be inspected by the county. And so we're probably there. Normally, after the inspection, we do the repairs, they release their inspection contingency. Well, they wouldn't do it because she's telling me the inspector may have more repairs. What they didn't tell us, and they should have, was that that inspector can ask for every single thing on the list. And that's something I've never seen. It's not in the spirit of a request for repairs. And that's what they did. So there goes Kyle to Home Depot to get his screen repair kit.
Light bulbs.
Light bulbs. What else?
I brought a
Light bulbs.
uh,
Really? Light
I brought
bulbs.
a box, a little toolbox full of tools, wrenches, adjustable jaw wrenches, to make sure things are tight. Wasn't any leaks from any of the fittings or anything like that. But I would say the funnest job was learning how to rescreen a screen. That was a first.
Yeah, I've watched a couple YouTube videos. Those seem fun.
Really?
Yeah,
Mine would definitely have ripples, and I mean, yeah. I'm
it
lucky
was
Kyle is
cool.
handy.
It was actually
Okay,
pretty cool.
so at this point, now they've asked for an extension. Okay, we need another 15 days. Okay, we'll give you another 15 days. It's the county. We get it. So the county, oh my goodness, so slow. They would not answer phone calls. They would not answer emails for like 48 hours. So I'm glad they're being investigated because this is not run well. And all it did was cause misery. Then they asked for another extension, another 2 weeks. So now we're at 30 days extension. Now the inspector's thinking about coming out, but she wouldn't use her car. So she had to wait
Oh
for
yeah.
a county approved car when she didn't have to. And then wasn't there something also on the outside? There was not a crack, but in the stucco, there was something.
Mhm. Oh
'Cause I
yeah, I
know
think
the
the
listing agent sent her
parking,
guy out
there's
there.
something in next to some stucco, I think also had to
Yeah.
be filled in.
So at this point, they're asking for their third 15-day extension. And Vanessa's like, this is it. Okay, I got to tell you guys, I had to make these phone calls. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And she was, I don't know what she did when she hung up, but she was the most gracious, patient person. It's kind of like me when I hang up the phone because what I missed was she had already bought her replacement home up north and
Oh,
moved.
I gotta go, guys.
Okay. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh, I hope he didn't get a ticket.
hope not.
So this was it. It had to close. And
Hmm.
when she was like, nope, this is the last time, they finally got it done. And oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And you know what? I've brought this up to a couple of lenders in the past and actually just tried to get a buyer in this program 2 days ago. And then yesterday they shut it down
Wow.
because they had funds again, because yours was at the end of the year. That was the
Hmm.
other thing. They couldn't verify that there were still funds available.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Mm.
So yeah, this one was one for the books for sure.
Yeah, it absolutely was. I
What were some of
definitely
your
had
thoughts going through this?
definitely had some choice words after all of our
Yeah.
conversations.
Oh my gosh.
But no, in all of the challenges that we encountered, you and Kyle were still there and supporting me and giving all of the options, and that actually made it a little bit easier for me.
Oh my gosh, I'm
Um,
glad.
and
Because we were up against still didn't have any other offers and we were taking backup offers. We actually put it back on active under contract when they didn't
mhm,
release they hadn't released the request for the repair inspection yet,
mhm.
contingency. Yeah.
Um, Another challenge that we came up as far as the timeline for everything was so many holidays and working with the county program.
Oh, yes. Oh,
They
and they
they
had
jumped
extra in there, remember? I'm like,
yeah,
what holiday is this?
yeah.
Something no, not even a bank takes off. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my gosh, I forgot
Extra
about that.
county holidays, and that our lovely friend at the county also was taking several vacations during that
Yes,
time.
that's right. Oh my gosh. Vacations and holidays. Yeah, and zero regard for people's lives and what's
Hmm.
happening and for the buyer too. I mean,
Yeah.
I felt bad for everybody. I didn't feel bad for the agent or the lender because they lied to me.
Yes.
They
Yes.
lied about the inspection and they lied about the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have given us a heads up. That was yeah,
Yeah. Because
transparency.
the buyers, I never met them, but just hearing about their story and whatnot, they seemed like they were the better option for purchasing that house, and at the time, the only offer we had.
Right.
Um, with me needing to move for work, it's like, okay, let's figure out a way to make this work for everybody as best as possible.
And I think they spent at least a month in their apartment with 5 kids and most of their house packed up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was living by myself. Yes, I had my dogs, but um, just living out of boxes myself, I can understand how challenging that was for them too.
Yeah,
Um, it it definitely was a emotional roller coaster going through
absolutely.
everything. Um, just the
And
whole
and
waiting
I
game.
become very mama bear, and I would get so mad at them. And I'm like, now I have to call her and give her bad news again. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like the worst thing.
Yes,
And
yes,
we didn't know each other, but you came to me through Oton, through friends.
yes.
So, not that my service level is ever any different, but I'm like, oh my gosh, now Oton's probably hearing how horrible this is.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
heard.
And oh my gosh, she is a sweetheart too.
She is.
She's
She's
a sweetheart.
absolutely a sweetheart. She ended up helping me move and pack most of my stuff. So
And you
I
did
love her.
pods, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
was that on the delivery side?
It actually worked really well, because they coordinated the timeline for delivery ended up being about 2 weeks, and that was I ended up getting
Oh,
a Airbnb out here for those 2 weeks, and they delivered the pods directly to the house, put them in the driveway. I had some movers come over, and they just
okay. So
put
wait a minute. The 2 weeks. Why did it take them 2 weeks? Was that to get it?
just the transport time between Southern California
Oh.
and up here.
And had you closed yet?
I had closed on this house already,
Because
so
your
I was,
purchase went really smooth.
yeah,
I
my
remember your agent was really nice too.
yeah, like there were a few hangups because the seller for my current house was having issues with their purchase,
Oh
but
gosh.
they were actually very gracious and like we can vacate the house and we'll figure out what we need to do on our side.
Oh,
So
that's
that
good.
like my purchase here went so smoothly compared to the
Yes,
selling.
the departing property. When we closed, I was so relieved
Yes.
and being able to finally deliver some good news I remember when we had funded and I just have to get recorded and then it's done. So,
Yes.
and I haven't heard anything from them since, which is always a blessing.
Absolutely. I hope they are enjoying the house.
I'm sure they are. I'd forgotten about all her vacations on top of
Yeah.
the holidays. I'm like, what? It was crazy. And of
It
course,
was.
with the county, oh, they say someone else can cover for them, but they never
Mhm.
would. They never
No,
once
they
covered.
wouldn't. And
They're like
um
afraid to step on into anybody else's file.
yeah,
Yeah.
which I understand to a certain extent, but this is someone's livelihood that they were impacted. A lot of someone's were.
Yes, a lot of moving pieces for sure.
Um, the the other challenge I had was um with the obviously with trying to do open houses.
Oh,
It was
yes.
disappointing when we didn't have a big turnout. And I know that's not something we can influence. You and Kyle were going really hard with the advertising and trying to announce our open houses and whatnot.
Yes. Oh, Kyle, we're glad you're back. We were afraid you got a ticket.
Oh, I did.
You did?
Oh
I did.
And why are you back on the phone?
Well, he caught me because I had like the big screen in the center said Zoom meeting,
Oh no.
no!
and he just happened to drive by and look over, and I was like, oh man.
Oh
So I
no.
changed that. But he's really cool. He's like, you know what? Not to take anything too far away from the conversation, but he's like, if you decide to go to court, I'll tell you this. In 3 weeks, I'm going to be 400 miles away. So if the officer does not show, they get
You
dismissed.
win. He gave you an
So
out?
yeah, so he's like, do with that bit of information as you want. Have a
What
nice
a
day. I
nice
was like, thank you.
cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, you hopped on at the perfect time because Vanessa, it's so funny. Before COVID, agents used to call me and say, can your team hold these whatever properties open all the time? And we
Mhm,
don't even call them mega open houses now. We call them launch parties. And
mhm.
but with Vanessa's, Kyle, remember we had the most dismal turnouts,
Yes.
and Kyle's out there with his bowl and his drinks and his snacks and his music and oh my gosh.
Mhm.
But you know what? That was like when kids were going back to school and parents are busy with, back to school nights and shopping and getting lunches and everybody going to bed on time and getting all that stuff. And then you're rolling into Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to be said for timing, but that's still I was like, wait, what? We, two people, what? Vanessa, at one of
Yeah.
our open houses in Irvine, we had over 100 people through. So
Yeah.
there's one extreme to the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now you were gated, right?
No, I was not on the gated side of the
Wasn't gated.
community.
That really shouldn't have had any impact.
Yeah, it is kind of remote from the freeway access though. So that could have something to do with the traffic flow. And
Yeah, but
mm,
people shop on their phones. Like we
yeah,
don't even
Yeah.
really have to put signs out anymore. Nobody follows signs. You can have signs for a mile and a half and have no idea where you're going. And
Although one of my couples that came in, they literally said we found the signs, and they're
oh,
actually investors. They were the investors from LA that
I
they
remember
just
them.
yeah, they just popped in, and I mean the home wasn't even anything that they're looking for.
Right,
They're
it's not
looking
an
for
investor
something,
special at all.
yeah.
mhm,
And
Opposite.
so, but yeah,
They were hoping.
they were they wound up wanting to have something closer to LA near their business. And
mhm.
it's like,
Then what are you doing in
why would you
Beaumont?
even waste your time in in Beaumont?
That's pretty much the furthest you could get from it.
Yeah.
Right.
But this was so hard with you with the dogs and having to be
Mhm.
out of the house while you're packing. I mean, it was a lot. It was really a
Yeah.
lot. So we get to finally thank you and tell you how much we appreciated you and
Yes.
just like not ripping our heads off because you very well could have and would have been completely entitled. Just
No,
the
that's
frustration. People don't realize this is a very emotional process
hmm
on
hmm
both sides. And there's just so many. I remember one, I had four contingencies, and my mom was the end. So three other properties had to close in order for her to sell and move.
Oh
Talk
wow.
Oh
about
my
mama
God.
bear. And I was on top of everybody and their lender and are your contingencies released? And they did. We closed like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Oh no,
Oh
whatever.
wow.
It ended on Friday and we closed. But it's hard, to believe this is all going to happen like it's supposed to.
hmm And I think that's also part of the blessing that I had in this situation. I didn't have any contingencies for my new purchase. I had enough
That's
buffer.
huge. Yeah. If you had, you would never have closed because they would have
No.
gone on to the next buyer.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have this kind of a new thing. It's a seller calendar that we give with the listing timeline and then the escrow timeline. That would have meant nothing in your case.
Mm-mm.
It
Mm-mm.
was zero.
Yeah.
That's
But I
well,
have
the,
Yep.
never
the
had
That's
listing
anything.
timeline would have applied, but
Yeah.
that's about it.
Yeah. I have never had an escrow like that ever in 14 years. So you were special. Ding ding.
Yay!
Well, any final thoughts?
Um, no, just the biggest takeaway is it was good to have the information along the way because I am one of those people like give me updates, tell me what is going on, so that I can kind of plan better for what I can plan for.
Yeah, as you go. Yeah, I'm the same way. When people go dark, that's the worst thing. That
Hmm
we all think the worst.
yep.
hmm
Yeah.
So it
So
in the
that's
end,
good.
I absolutely appreciate you guys because you did do that. We did get it done a whole heck of a lot later than we planned
Yes.
for, but it got done. So I appreciate your help.
Yeah, 45 full days later.
Absolutely.
Double.
Double.
Yeah.
Well, Vanessa, thank you so much for being our first guest on our weekly interview
Yes.
show.
Thank you.
We had
Thank
to
My
you.
start off
pleasure.
with a bang and fun and I'll do a cautionary. most people's escrow will never see this issue. And if they do, now we know. So, Vanessa, thank you again. Thank you so much. Kyle, sorry you got a ticket, but I'm glad you were here.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I wanted to hop right back on. I was like, okay, come on, like,
Oh my
let's
gosh,
go.
that's so
Here we
funny.
go.
All right, Vanessa,
But
take care.
Awesome. Thank you so
All right,
much.
Kyle, I'll talk to you
thank
soon.
you so much.
All right.
Yes,
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
it was fun.